Okay, good. Namaskar, Radhe Radhe. I am so glad to see you all. I didn't expect so many people. Okay. Okay.
She's been doing this for years and years.
Okay, is this okay now? Okay, so thank you so much for coming, and especially I'm so honored today that you came here today, Dr. Bedi, after so long. It's so wonderful to see you. I'm sure everybody. Thank you, and I know some other people, Bimlaji, who also made it today, so I really thank those people. Okay, so first of all, it's kind of strange. Some of you must be thinking, and even my husband and my family, that who goes in public and talks about what happened to them, about their illness? Who wants to hear it? But you will find out later on why I had to do it. I had no choice. Let me just tell you what I have, what my diagnosis is. I have SSNHL. That is severe sensory neuro hearing loss. This is a very rare condition. In like 100,000 people, only some people get it, like 20 or so. Out of them, most of them only lose their hearing in 1 year. It's very rare cases, like I lost it in both ears. And I think so. Same thing happened to Alka Yagnik, those of you know. And it happened in 2024. Suddenly when she got off the plane, she couldn't hear. And now it's 2026, she still cannot hear. And as you saw last time, that she can't even walk on her own. So that's a miracle. I'm standing in front of you and I can hear some of you. So it's really a miracle. So I don't want to say my speech. You will find out why. It is the speech. I did not write it. It's not my words. You will find out how. So first part is the trauma, barriers and miracles. Second part is 15 days of prednisone euphoria. Third part is analysis, and the fourth part is lessons learned. So let me first take you to my journey of my sickness, how barrier after barrier. I'm sorry I have to talk in English, that's how I received the speech. So it came barriers, and then how miracles happened and the barriers just melted down. So I went with my children and grandchildren to India for a wedding. When I was coming back from there, in the plane only, I started diarrhea. I came back here, the diarrhea continued after 3 days. I took Cipro for 3 days, nothing happened. Then we started the testing, and it was by now 2 weeks, 40 days, and the diarrhea continued. But we found out I had H. pylori. So my doctor gave me 2 very strong antibiotics, tetracycline and metronidazole, whatever. 2 days I was fine, diarrhea totally stopped. But third day, I had a great nausea and I started throwing up. So I stopped the medicine. And at that same evening, I was fine. I watched TV, something on the TV. And then when I was going to sleep, I felt that my ears are blocked. But I went to sleep, no problem. Next morning, I got up 5 a.m. I went to bathroom, flushed, no sound. I went to the sink, turned on the water, no sound. So I was very surprised, I couldn't hear anything. I went back quickly to bed. I told my husband that he said something to me, I couldn't hear that. So I had total loss of hearing. Even if you play a band or a drum in front of me, or you say something right in my ear, I could not hear either low or high, anything. So like the world became silent for me. Nothing. No, I couldn't watch TV or watch a video, call anybody on the phone, nothing. Like it's totally, the life became still. That was a barrier. Then what happened at 5 o'clock? Usually it was a Saturday morning, 5 a.m., and it was Memorial Day weekend. Usually what we will do, we will say, okay, today Saturday is 5 a.m., let me see, maybe my hearing will be back on Monday. If not, I will go to the doctor. That's general reaction, right? But something pushed me. Something like said, get up. I don't know what it was. I believe it was the divine power. I got up. I went, grabbed my iPad. I went to AI, and AI said, go to the ER right now. Those were exact words. Because let me tell you, in this situation, when you have this condition, it's very time sensitive. What's most important thing is that you take action right now. You go to the doctor and do whatever you have to. If you take time, that's it. Then you cannot get your hearing back. So we quickly got, and at 5 a.m. everybody is sleeping. We can't even call kids or anyone because of 5 a.m. So we quickly get up and we were at 6 a.m. in the ER, Kaiser ER. They were great. They did all testing, your heart, your stroke, this and that. And then I said, that's great, fine, you are doing all that. But I came here for my hearing loss. I want to see an ENT doctor who can tell me what happened. No response. And then look what happens. Dr. Ajay Sood walks in the ER with his mother, and he talks to the ER doctor and says, hello guys, talk to ENT because she needs help. So now what the ENT doctor said still haunts me. He said that I checked her CT scan, she has sinus, and gave her amoxicillin. If I would have done what he said, I would not be standing here today and listening to you guys. Totally wrong diagnosis and wrong prescription. Anyway, we come back home, my kids come there, and then my doctor, she's not here, she was supposed to be here. Dr. Lalita Mittal came to my home. Again, don't you think it's a miracle? I mean, how many times you see your doctor is coming home, right? She came home, and not only that, when we told her in the morning what happened, she didn't know what that is. Most of the doctors don't know because it's such a rare condition. So what she did, she read about it, and she found out what we need to do. So she said, listen, do not listen to the ENT doctor. She put her foot down. You are not taking amoxicillin. You are taking 60 milligram of prednisone. So I already took one pill amoxicillin. I stopped it. Actually, later on, our UCSF ENT also wrote us and said, stop amoxicillin. You cannot take amoxicillin. It will do you more harm than good. So just watch another miracle that Lalita comes to my home, she reads about it, and usually a doctor would not, usually cases will not say the specialist is wrong and don't do that. But she put her foot down. So thanks to her that if she had not started that prednisone that day, again, I will not be able to hear at all. So then what happened was, we started that. Then next day was Sunday. We were all home together, kids, and then Monday morning they go back. And then our household became like a war zone. You know how if somebody is going to attack US or something, everybody goes in the war room and somebody is doing the research, somebody is calling, somebody is finding their contacts. That's what was happening. My one daughter who lives in San Francisco, Netri, and another one, Tanvi, who lives in Walnut Creek, they started finding their contacts, what to do. So on Monday, she finds an ENT doctor in UCSF. Really guy who had experience, he found out who has that, and he really had some experience with some cases like mine. Now imagine, this is a Memorial Day Monday, right? I have no connection with him. I'm not even in that town. I'm not even his patient. I am all the way here. But see what miracle happens? God is sent an angel or inspired him, go help her. So what he does, he listens to all my case, and then he sends us the whole list of treatment. What you need to do. Do this first, do this first, do this first. So wonderful. And then he says that the first thing you should do today is go back to ER and get a shot in your ear, a steroid shot in your ear. All right, so we go to ER. Now this is really funny. We are in ER at 7 p.m. We are sitting there, it's 9 p.m. Everybody has been called, and we are still sitting there. Then at 9 o'clock, finally my husband goes to the nurse and says, what's happening? How come we have not been called? And you know what she said? Exact words, we don't know what to do with you. And why don't you know what to do with us? Because we have never ever seen an ENT doctor comes to ER. So it's 9:30, they finally send us to a room. Nothing. Then ER doctor comes, same thing. She says, I don't know what to do. The ENT never comes to ER. Then at 10 o'clock, Lalita calls her and says, hey, this is an urgent case. You need to talk to ENT doctor. Nothing. Then my angel, Ajay Sood, 11 p.m., calls the ER head and says, hey, you must talk to ENT doctor. This is very important. So now watch what happens. Finally, he calls the ENT doctor. Number one who was on call. So what she does, she's sleeping. She's on call, but she's sleeping and she doesn't take the call. Then they call the second ENT who was also on call. And now look at the difference between two people. The UCSF doctor who has nothing to do with me, I'm not a patient, he's not on call, he's taking his time, sending me the treatment plan. And this lady who's on call, who's being paid, what does she say? She says, I know the protocol, my office will call you tomorrow. She didn't talk to me, she didn't ask what's happening, nothing. Okay, we'll call you tomorrow. I know the protocol. So see how barrier after barrier comes? So here's the barrier now. Now what do we do? The research says you must get the shot within 72 hours. It's already 90 hours. Nothing, because it's midnight, we come home. Now Tuesday, my other daughter, Tanvi from Walnut Creek, she also goes and finds her contacts and finds an ENT doctor in Walnut Creek, Kaiser. Right? So he is again so wonderful. It's just like a miracle again that God inspired him, sent like an angel and said, go help her. So he is so wonderful. He talks to her and he says, okay, I can arrange a shot, but first thing you need to do is get an audiogram, get your hearing checked. Without that, we don't know and we can't give the shot. So we go back to the hospital, to Kaiser, and we say, hey, we need a audiogram appointment. It's very important today. And she said, come after 1 week on June 2nd. We have nothing. See a barrier? A big barrier? Oh, now what to do? So we go to Costco. Costco says, come after 4 days. We don't have anything. Then we call Miracle Ear. Miracle Ear says, yeah, come over at 2 o'clock. But I don't want to get it from Miracle Ear. It's very commercial. I want to get it from Kaiser so they can, do the treatment, find out how it is. But no choice. So 5 minutes to 2. We are coming out of the car, going to go in the store. And guess what? A big miracle happens. I still don't know how. We get a call and it says, you have an appointment at 4:30 in Dublin for your audiogram. We still don't know who did that or how this happened. So strange. We quickly sat in the car and we drove to Dublin, got our audiogram done, and we sent it to Dr. Andrew in Walnut Creek that we got the audiogram done. He said, okay, come tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I have arranged for an urgent evaluation of your ear and a shot. Again, see the difference between people and the humanity, how some people can have this humanity factor in them. I'm not his patient. Here, I'm patient and they are saying come after 1 week. And he's saying come tomorrow and you will get a shot. So miracle. Go get the shot done. Now, my daughter is still in touch with the UCSF doctor, and he says there is one more thing that the research has shown. By the way, there's very little research on this and very little medical studies because it's a very rare thing and happens to very few people. But he says there's some research that shows that if you take hyperbaric therapy, which is oxygen therapy, it has helped some people. But it should be done right away. See again, everything right away. But Kaiser does not offer it anywhere, so we have to have a referral to go and take the therapy. So we go again to Kaiser and we say, hello, give us a referral because I need to start right away the therapy at John Muir Hospital in Walnut Creek. They say, come, it takes 3 to 5 days. No. Okay, so we come back. So then our daughter, did you do that or Tanvi did that? Tanvi. Then Tanvi calls Walnut Creek and says, look, explains what it is and she needs the therapy right away. It's Friday now, Friday. She said that the person who does the therapy, does the referral, comes on Monday at 12 o'clock. So you call on Monday at 12 o'clock. We said, fine, see the barriers? So on Monday 12 o'clock when she calls, they said, she got stomach flu and she didn't come in. See the barrier? But then this angel, she already had made appointment with John Muir. My therapy starts on Tuesday. But they cannot start the therapy on Tuesday until there is a referral from Kaiser, right? So then she calls Kaiser, okay, so now what do we do? Tuesday, there's only Monday left. Monday she didn't come. Tuesday is we go for therapy. So she calls me like at 4 p.m. and she says, Ma, just open your Kaiser portal and just check. I don't know why even she did that, what inspired her, So I open it and guess what? There is referral letter sitting and they already sent it to John Muir. See the miracle? All those barriers and then I don't know who's doing that. Like somebody sitting up, pulling the strings, saying help her, she needs help, do whatever, and it's just inspiring people to help me. I mean, I would call it a miracle. It's really, because absolutely they said no, and then how does the referral letter comes there, and it already sent to John Muir. So I start my therapy next day, Tuesday. Then what happens was, one more thing, she insists that we must consult a Stanford doctor. So my son-in-law doing all the research and he found out there is a great doctor in Stanford who has actually cured a case like mine. He was some billionaire and he was so happy that he even established a professorship chair there in their department. Anyway, now imagine, and it should be done right away again. You can't have the more time and go by. Now, can you imagine what a barrier? One particular doctor in Stanford, you want right away the appointment. How is that possible? So, again, my angel goes, her contacts and finds a guy who is a friend of that doctor. He calls him. He says, look, I'm in East Coast on vacation. But I understand how important this is. Tell her to come tomorrow to Stanford and see my colleague. I'll make an appointment for you. Isn't that a miracle? A random person whom we don't know, nobody has any connection. In Stanford, he gives you appointment for next day with this guy, MD, PhD, whoever. So we go there next day. So what I'm trying to tell you is the story. The reason I'm telling you story is how there were barriers, but miracles after miracles happened. I call them miracles, right? So that takes us to the second part, which is 15 days of prednisone euphoria, and why these miracles happened. But this part is a little hard to understand for everybody. You can have your own interpretation. You believe me or not, it's up to you. This is my story and I'm telling you as it happened, right? Before I start that, let me make it very clear, especially for medical people who are sitting there. I am absolutely know what happened to me in these 15 days was due to prednisone. I have no doubt about that. And I'm thankful to prednisone what it did to me. So what prednisone did was, it took me to a higher level, a different mental level. It gave me an out-of-body experience. It gave me, I think it tapped into my subconscious. And through that subconscious tapping into that, it made me connection with the higher power, superpower, God, whoever you may like to call it. So I think that is what happened. So why I said in the beginning, this is not my speech. Now I will tell you what happened to me. All this I have said, it's not one word written by me, one word thought about it. Do you think I'm sick? I'm taking prednisone, I hardly can sleep. Do you think I'll be sitting there and thinking I had to give a speech? Right? No, not at all. I'm not going to think what the title of it will be. I have never used this word in my entire life. So what happened? This is what happened. Day 1. Remember, I'm taking 60 milligram of prednisone. So day 1, night comes. I try to sleep. It's very hard to sleep. I get 2.5 to 3 hours sleep. Then I'm wide awake. And what happens? I don't know how to explain you that. Okay. So, this speech that I gave, these exact words, they start like pouring in here. I could not hear them. I could not see them. All I could do was experience them. And you know, I don't know if some people have seen old movies. When the stock market started, there used to be a machine and there will be a ribbon coming through continuously and there will be written all the, what's happening in stock. That's what it was. It was like a keep going like this. Keep going. All the words coming in there. Now imagine my mental state. I cannot sleep and these words are going again and again and again. And at the back here, my ears are saying, like, you know how you go to the field of people's sports field and they say, USA, 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 or 10, 9, 8, 7. So here, that's what's happening. And here, all this message coming. And not only at night, during the day it's also happening. Anytime if I'm sitting without doing anything, same thing happening during the day too. Anyway, night 2 comes. So second night, again same thing happens. I sleep for 2.5 to 3 hours and then I'm wide awake. So then what I do, I'm going crazy. I get up, I grab this notebook and a pen and I I started writing. Whatever it said, I started writing. So, and then but then it only gives you this much message, whatever, and then it repeats the same thing, repeats. That's why you see I don't need to see my notes because it has been repeated so many times for 15 days in my head. So I write everything. So day 3, night 3, same thing happens, but now it adds more. Night 4, same thing happening, it adds more, right? Then it gives me the heading, whatever my heading was, my trauma, barriers through miracles. It gives me all these subtitles. So it keeps giving me that. But again, every night for 15 days, most of the nights I'm only sleeping 2.5 to 3 hours. And then all this, all night. And during the day, it keeps going and going and going. So now you can understand that when I said it's not my speech, it was just given to me and I only wrote it down. And also, I had to talk about it. It was pushing me to go and talk about it. If I do not talk, I will explode inside because it's so much, kept going and going and going in the head. So that was my 15 days of prednisone. Now, third part is the analysis. All this happened. Why did these miracles happen? What made them happen? I kept thinking, and I'm not sure how much it was, the part of it was coming. Right now, this part I got confused. I myself analyzed and wrote it, or some of that also came. I am not sure. Anyway, so as you know that I have been involved with this temple for 15 years, and I did whatever seva I could do. Now imagine in 15 years, every Sunday we have satsang, and at least once a month we have some Swami or Guru or wise person who gives a lecture here. And sometimes they repeat same thing, and many times we say, you already know that, why they are saying that again? But what happens, I realize, when you have satsang and you hear same thing over and over and over again, what happens? You internalize it. It becomes a part of you. You own it then. And whenever the situation comes like this, when you are hit with something, that's when it helps you and you are able to use it and do it. That's what happened with me. When it was COVID. Now I thought that the way I reacted to this whole situation, my condition, where did I get the strength to do it, the way I handled it. Then I realized when it was COVID, I contacted somebody who was very knowledgeable in India and asked him, will you please read Gita with us, we will read shlok by shlok and you explain it. He said, sure, so nice. Since then, since the COVID, every week on Wednesday, at Zoom at 7 p.m. We still meet every Wednesday at 7 to read Gita. So what I realized, that first 2 chapters of Gita, I think we read it for 2 months. There was one word that kept coming over and over and over again. So what happened? I internalized it. It became my part. What was that word? Krishna Bhavnamrit. Krishna Bhavnamrit means, हमारा भजन है, अब सौंप दिया इस जीवन का, सब भार तुम्हारे हाथों में, मैं दुखी रहूं या सुखी रहूं, सब भार तुम्हारे हाथों में. So Krishna Bhavnamrit means that whatever God has given you, you accept it, right? So when I got this hit, actually when my kids came, I was dancing, singing, I was very happy. I was saying, God, how great, I can talk, I can walk, I can see, I can do anything I want to. So I accept what you have given me. You know how uplifting that is? How I did not despair, I didn't go in depression, I wasn't sad, because I left it to God. So a lot of people get depressed in situations like that when they are hit with something or they become sad. Don't, just accept that whatever God has given me, I am accepting it. But here comes the second part. Then I realized, what happened? How come we took action? Then I realized, next 2 chapters of Gita that he was teaching us, over and over and over again, emphasized, what did they say? Karm karo aur phal mujh par chhod do. Do your action and leave the results to me. Can you imagine how much relief that is? How much it's freeing you from stress? When do you get stressed? When you expect something. मैं कुछ कर रही हूँ तो मैं सोचती हूँ कि I will get better, and then I don't. That's when you have stress. But so what is God saying? God is not saying just sit and do nothing and say, oh Bhagwan, ab jo hoga dekha jayega, tum hi karo. No, God doesn't say that. God says, take action. That's what we did. I was wondering, where is I'm being inspired that I'm taking quick actions, we are doing quick everything. That is where it was, because God said, take actions. So I'll urge you all, whenever something happens, don't just sit there and say, oh Bhagwan karega. No, take action. But then leave the result to God. I am not worried now. I got my partial hearing back. Whether I get 100%, 70, 60, whatever, it's okay. I did my part. We did whatever we could, the best. Now, it's to the God. Whatever he does, right? So now, the most important thing that I felt happens when you do seva. Believe me, it connects you to God, right? But what is seva? Let's not misunderstand seva. Seva is when you do something for someone without expectation. If there is an expectation, that's not seva. So seva is when you do something. I'll give you an example. Our Pandit ji got a call from an Indian lady and she said, Pandit ji, मैं बहुत दुखी हूँ. Please come and do puja in my house. So Pandit ji goes there. And what does Pandit ji see? She is living in utter poverty. She has no husband. She has a handicapped daughter. There's no food in the house. What does he do? He asks the neighbor, can you please take us to a grocery store? He goes there, buys 1 month worth grocery for them and give it to them. Is that seva? True seva. What expectations he had? He's a pandit. He should be getting the dakshina. But he does the opposite, right? So that is seva. Actually, our whole Mandir community has become so wonderful and has learned this seva bhav in them. I'll give you an example. Last month, we have a handyman, a Mexican, Jeremy. He got into an accident. He needed to buy a truck because without that he cannot do work or earn anything. So I posted it that he needs help. In 2 days, we collected $2,500. Half of those people didn't know who Jeremy is. Even then, they helped him. That is seva, right? So please, I will request you, just do seva. Physical seva, I think, is very important because with your hand and feet, when you are doing something, a direct connection to the God. I know when we do in Mandir, after the program, we have to wash dishes, mop the floor, clean the tables. I remember somebody said, क्या छोटे-छोटे काम करते हैं, कुछ बड़े काम करो. I remember a friend saying that, why you do that? Hire someone. Yes, hire someone. But will it give you that joy or anand? Have you ever noticed if you really do something selfless for someone, you get an inner joy. That you smile inside. Oh, I did something good. It's not temporary. This thing is anand. That, oh my God, I did that. So do a little bit for some humanity, for somebody, for temple seva, then you are directly doing the service, directly connection with God, and we all believe that every human being has a little part of God in them, right? So that means if you are helping someone, you are actually helping, you are working for God, right? So very important. As I realized, and this is very important, it gives you mental strength. Mental strength. Let me tell you how. We have a lady sitting here, petite, short, sick, kind of, hardly can walk, hard time walking, but she does a lot of seva. What does seva do? Gives her mental strength. When she goes all over the world, to visit places, and when I've gone with her, she will be walking all day. Like she won't be tired. We'll be tired, sit down, but slowly, she will catch up with you and do that. When we are cleaning up here, after we are done, we'll just sit down. Then we say, where's Shobha? Oh, she's still cleaning the Instapot. She's still cleaning the rice cooker. That mental strength, that's what it gives you, the seva. I give you another example. Here's a guy sitting, 80-year-old, with a serious medical condition. He has so much mental strength, we never even feel he's 80 years old. What he does? Seva. Almost every day, he comes twice to mandir. Then, in weekends, he goes and checks all the bathrooms. There's tissue paper, there's soap, takes out the trash. When he's sitting at home, sometimes he's eating, sometimes he's doing something, he'll get a call and they will say, oh, we are at the mandir, can you come? And you know what? Always his response is, I'll be there in 10 minutes. No matter what he's doing. He just stops, jumps in the car and he's here in 10 minutes. So that's where the mental strength is coming. You see some people, you will see, they'll be tired all the time, They are physically fit. And then there are other people who are sick, but even then, because they are doing all this seva, they are getting so much mental strength. Okay. So, next part is, and you know what? I just remembered. The best example of seva, you all know, Mrs. Sharda Bali, right? Even at 90 years age, she's the only person who will clean our bathroom of the mandir. She will scrub and clean the counters and toilet, and she'll go to people's home, pick them up and drive them to a mandir even at age 90. So much mental strength she had, she would do so much because even at that age, So, what my request to you is that in everyday life, right, look for little miracles. You will be surprised. Sometimes we say, oh, ye kaise ho gaya? Or sometimes we say, oh, it's a coincidence. Now open up your mind, and think about your connection with God and think, oh, a miracle happened. I connected with God, right? I'll tell you another miracle happened with me, very funny. We were going to Walnut Creek in the morning, and we have a tree outside and there are apricots on them. I told my husband, can you please go and pick all the apricots? I'm going to make jam. So I had everything prepared, ready for the jam. He comes and he has these apricots, like 10. I said, what am I going to do with them? I can't make jam. Well, never mind. So we drive to Walnut Creek. We walk in, and my daughter says, Mom, a friend of mine just stopped by and brought this whole bag of apricots. I mean, isn't that a miracle? To me, it's a miracle. How is that happen? How did she know she could not come that day or she could come later? See just a small miracle. So look for those little miracles, right? Look, and when I said seva, you don't have to go out and do big seva. You can do little seva. You see somebody is having hard time getting up, go give them a hand. You see there somebody is in the line for the food, having hard time holding the plate and standing. Help them with that. Somebody needs water, go get them a water. Small things you can doctor, engineer, retired person, housewife. What? Just go a little beyond that. Just a little beyond that and help someone. For you, it might be 10 minutes. It may change someone's life. Look at that UCSF doctor and that. If they didn't help me, they didn't have take some extra time, my life would have been different. So just do a little bit extra for somebody. Somebody needs help, do that seva, right? So finally, the lessons learned. I just want to say there are a lot of elder people here. Please take care of your body. If you see any symptoms, if you see any changes, don't ignore them. I have a friend sitting here who was telling me, I used to have stomach ache, she said, and I'll take my Lenta or I'll take Hajmola or something. It kept going, I ignored it. Finally, when she went to the doctor, guess what? She said, you have stomach cancer. So that's why, please, don't ignore your symptoms. Anything that you have, take care of it. I see many people here who need hearing aids. I don't know why they don't have them. Take action. Be active, take action, and get what you need, what help you need. You will be fine. Don't cry. So, do that. The other lesson that we have learned, that whenever something hits you, right? Whether it's financial, or death, a family matter, a disease, anything, don't despair. Don't be depressed, right? Just remember Krishna Bhavnamrit. Say, God, whatever you have given must be maybe my karmas last time and I got that, accept it, right? But one very important thing, next lesson, take an action, right? Immediate action. You know what? We are all educated and we are in the age when we have internet, we have AI. You can always get help there. Find your contacts, ask your family, get help and take action, right? And lastly, the most important thing, always try to do seva, right? You can also connect with God through bhakti, meditation, satsang, all that. But that's all for you, right? It's not for anybody else. So if you do seva, then it's you are helping somebody else, and that's how you are connecting to God. Okay, finally, I would like to give a few thanks. First, my thanks go to people sitting here who have been texting me, calling me, visiting me, praying for me. Thank you so much, I never realized this before until you're in that situation, how important it is. So if you see somebody sick or getting hit by something, please send them a message, not a long speech message or saying, oh, you wonderful, this and just small message, we are praying for you, or best wishes, or can I do anything? And don't expect a reply, because people sometimes are not in that position. But every few days, send a message, that makes you uplifting, that makes you feel, wow, there are people who are thinking about me. It's very uplifting. My next thanks go to Ajay Sood for being for me there, coming to ER, making appointments for me, and my next thanks go to Lalita Mittal, and she's not here, and my two. Oh, hi. Okay. So Lalita, as I told you already, that if she had not prescribed me that prednisone 60 gram that day, I would not be the same person, right? So, and not only that, she will ask me update every day, how you are doing, what is this, guiding me, and I felt like I got third daughter during that time. So, thank you so much, Lalita. She's my angel. And then, of course, the thanks to the UCSF and the Walnut Creek doctor. Oh, I want to have a disclaimer. I'm so sorry, I had to bring the name of Kaiser. I didn't want to bring it. I have nothing against Kaiser. I have been there for 10 years. I'm so happy. I even recommend everybody. Really, really happy. It's just one department, and it's not only me. I know other people who have experienced the same thing. It's just one department that is like that. So hopefully I have reported, and hopefully they take some action so that people, it's just little humanity, that's all it needs to take. My next thanks go to my husband. It's very funny. This is for Indian women. So, you know how we Indians, especially our generation and all, we are not very compliment giving or gift giving people, right? And we never heard our parents, I never heard my mom or dad saying, I love you. I mean, like, never ever. But they knew they loved me. Even to kids, they never said, I love you. We knew they were parents, they love us, right? And then we came to this culture, which is totally opposite. All the time, honey, I love you, I love you. They're going outside, I love you. All that. And we women, Indian women, kind of felt bad, I'll be honest. We will talk about it and say, look at our husband, he never compliments me, no matter what I do, all that. But guess what? When the time came, when you really needed help, he became my backbone. I will stand up, he'll stand up. If I go somewhere, he goes. He just takes care of me and makes sure I do everything. So we are lucky. Remember, they don't do those shallow, small things. But when time comes, look at Sudeshji, how he's taking care of Bimlaji, right? And look at Rita, how she's taking care of Berisa. So when the time comes, then we are the solid people that we come across and we do it, right?
And my son.
Yes, like Ajay does for his mom, right? Okay, and then the last thank you goes to, not last thank you, but my thank you goes to my son-in-laws and my grandchildren who had been sending me texts, good wishes, praying for me, making video for me and doing that. I had to tell you this, my other daughter could not come, they are on vacation. So I have two grandchildren, 7 years and 11 years. So sometimes when I'll come back from therapy, I'll be very tired. So as soon as I open the door, they both will come, hold my hand, put me on the sofa, and then my 7-year-old sergeant will say, Nani, now you are going to get 5-star spa treatment. He will go, cut up cucumbers, come back, put them on my eyes, and then start massaging my head and my neck very gently. My granddaughter will bring a face mask, which I never did before in my life. She'll put a face mask, she'll put some gel under my eyes, then she will take the lotion and massage my feet. Talk about uplifting. You even don't feel anything, when this happens, most uplifting thing. And then my final thank you to my 2 angels, my 2 daughters. I cannot even tell you when he needed and when I needed now. I mean, there, everything stopped for 10 days. Everything stopped. 8:30 to 3:30. That's all they did. Make appointments, call people, do all that for 10 days. So I am utterly, I don't have words to even thank you. Okay, but so wonderful. Okay, we have a little time left. If anybody has any question, I will try to answer.